API calls are great when the information you need is static and you do not need to take action on the change of information right away. For example, for our network devices, the configuration files are somewhat static. They do not change often. So using a REST API to take a nightly snapshot of the configuration file for backup is probably good enough. However, on the other hand, what if we need to keep track of the route changes in our routing table or keep track of our BGP neighbor flapping changes? For example, if we want to automatically be alerted when default route disappears from the routing table via email, how can we do that? One way we could do this is to make periodic API calls to our device, say every minute. But that is a lot of API calls that our target needs to answer. The result is wasted resources in both the client as well as the server. This is where webhooks could be helpful. Imagine your favorite relative who keeps asking you about your marital status every minute. After a while, you might get tired of giving out the same answer over and over again. This is where webhook can help. Webhooks are often used in a situation where one or more entity needs to act upon an event happening on a remote system. This is typically set up in a publisher-subscriber model, where the subscribers subscribe or tell the publisher the kind of event they're interested in, and the publisher will notify the subscriber when the event happens. In more detail, as a subscriber, we will register a webhook to a remote system, typically through a UI or an API for the event we're interested in. We could also optionally tell the remote system the type of action we would like to take locally through the callback method. The callback is typically an API on our own local system. In the example that we will see in the next section, I will show you where we could register our webhook to a Meraki cloud controller to alert us when the event happens. In another example, I will show you where we could do the same on a WebEx server. Webhooks are very commonly used to facilitate synchronization and relaying of data. Some of the examples include GitHub or other source code repositories who will notify the subscriber of a source code change, which could trigger testing and code review. When you sign up for a newsletter from a website, they use a webhook to notify their newsletter provider, such as MailChimp, to add your email to the subscriber list. An e-commerce site might use a third-party payment system, such as PayPal, that notify them when their customer makes a payment and that they could start to ship the product. Note that in the previous examples, the publisher is only responsible of notifying the subscriber of the event. The kind of action the subscriber takes, if at all, is entirely up to the subscriber. For example, we could have both the finance and the shipping department register a webhook to the sale of an item event. The shipping department's action upon the event will be to ship the item to the customer, where the finance department's action will be to document the transaction and make sure the payment is received in the system.